All right, America. It is Brad and Josh in Oklahoma real estate update for this week, October 20th, 2022. Brad, I'm so happy you're here. What's it been, 6 months?
Oh man, Josh, we haven't done a video in a long time together. We just kind of been all over the place, haven't we? Raising
Yeah,
kids, doing deals, helping people in real estate. It's been fun.
yeah, the market has been crazy. You know what, Brad? I forgot to hook up my audio and I'm probably getting feedback right now. I am so sorry. Are you getting feedback on me right now, Brad?
The only feedback I have is you are a great real estate agent.
Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, we'll leave it like this and then next time I'll get the headset hooked up. Folks, America, soon to be Oklahomans, currently Oklahomans, thank you so much for stopping by. Brad and I's real estate market update for the week of October 20th, 2022. As always, we make these videos so that you're a well informed consumer and so that you're going to be able to crush it when it comes time to selling or buying your home or land in the Oklahoma City metro area. And Brad and I work with agents all over the state of Oklahoma. So even if you're thinking about Ponca City or Chickasha, you got to reach out to us. You got to give us a call, shoot us, text us an email so Brad and I can help you with all your real estate needs throughout the state of Oklahoma. And Brad, don't we even work internationally? Don't we have people internationally?
We do, yes. If you are buying a house out of the country or looking to sell out of the country, we have agents that we work with out there. We'd love to get you connected with them. So that number that's popping up down below, we're the guys that answer the phone calls and texts and emails. So give us a shout. Now, let's get into today's video, Josh.
All right, so I made a cool little thingy right here. Check this out, Brad, right there. This week in real estate. Huh? How about that? How about that neat little banner? Man, I got nothing but good news. I got a team. We got a new listing this week over in Meeker, Oklahoma. Some beautiful land, 12.46 acres, more or less, and it does have a temporary two-bed, two-bath mobile home on it. You could use it as a permanent house, but the financing won't work on it. It's not one of those mobile homes that are permanently fixed to the foundation. It's just set on top of an old foundation for an old home. But if you are in the market for 12.46 acres in the Meeker School District, just probably about 36 miles outside Oklahoma city limits, that is an amazing new listing that we picked up this week. I know that you have what, one or two closings this week, Brad? You had some killer
Uh,
closings.
yeah, yeah, I had two. I got one today, here in a little bit. And, man, it's been a really good week. God's blessing us. And we'll talk about it on the video, but we've got some funny stories in real estate. Um, some people work for a commission and some people are not commissioned, and you kind of get to see that. So,
Are you talking about other agents and just their work ethic? Are you talking about like subsidiary contractors that are used throughout the process? What are I guess the non-commission ones would be like lenders. Do you think lenders are giving people hard times nowadays?
some of them are, I think they're having to work a little bit harder with interest rates and everything that's been going on. But yeah, just you know, in real estate, we're always moving forward. We're always trying to help people, and the people that are buying the house or selling the house are always wanting to move forward as well. It's just the in-betweeners don't necessarily have the same goals in mind and the same deadlines. So,
Yeah, and they definitely people who aren't commission-based sales, they definitely, in my experience, don't have the same work ethic because as real estate agents, if we don't help the consumer accomplish their goals, whether that's selling or buying a house, selling or buying some land, then we literally spent thousands of our dollars in marketing, in gas sometimes, and our time is one of our most valuable assets in just being there for them, just getting the deal put together. So as commission based real estate agent, I find that that's a huge incentive to make sure I get my job done. Because if I don't, I did everything for nothing. Is that kind of along the same lines you're talking about?
yeah, that's exactly it, Josh. you work with different people, and fortunately, everything's been good on the end. It's just, as real estate agents, we are the project managers, and we do check in with people consistently, timely, and fortunately, when I first got into real estate, um, you know, you had taught me kind of the checks and balances and put everything in spreadsheets and made it simple. You simplified everything for me, so I'm very grateful for that because that came in handy this week. I will say that.
That was from the School of YouTube. The School of YouTube, not the college education that I got, but the YouTube education that I got. That's the glory to God and the glory to YouTube on that, Brad.
Yeah. So what else you
So
want to talk about, Josh?
say it again. Sorry.
So what else you want to talk about today?
Okay, so sometimes I wanted to talk about. So this is a real estate weekly, uh, our week update. It's Brad's and I's view on the market. So what I'm seeing personally, Brad, is I'm getting several emails per week over the last couple of weeks from builders doing 10% price reductions on all their inventory. Have you been noticing? I haven't seen it on the existing house market as much as the new home market. Are you seeing things like that too?
Yeah, I have. I have been seeing a lot of builders adjusting prices. I think we're having a little bit of a market shift, is what's going on. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, is it such a shift that people are going to give things away 50 cents on the dollar? Existing homes? Heck no, heck no. Those existing homes are still such low supply. I think if it's a good existing home priced correctly, I think it's still going to fly off the shelf in about 9 to 15 days. Now, not 9 to 15 minutes like the last 2 years, but 9 to 15 days. If it's priced right, it'll get gone on the existing home. Is that sound fair?
Yeah, I think you're correct. Let's look at some data on some of
Okay,
this stuff.
okay. Let me switch over, Brad, right here. So Brad and I pulled up the actual market information. This is straight from our MLS, and Brad and I have it organized by Oklahoma City, Edmond, and Norman. Some of the major cities here in the Oklahoma City metro area. Brad and I, we also have referral agents in Tulsa if you're looking to move to the Tulsa metro area, and agents throughout the state. So, but we're just going to focus this video on Oklahoma City, Edmond, and Norman. So right now, Brad, what we're looking at is month supply, and this is monthly. This is month over month data. This isn't year over year data. This is month over month data. So we're getting really strong points right here on this spreadsheet. So looking at September's month over month month supply data, the entire MLS now has 2.2 months of supply on its books according to September's data, Brad. How freaking amazing is that for buyers who are out there looking now?
Man, that's really exciting, and we are starting to see a shift, and we're starting to see more buyers have opportunities to get the house that they're wanting, and they're not having to make these outrageous offers and basically do all these things that are uncomfortable for them. So it's really neat to see that kind of shift a little bit, and I'm sure we're going to see quite a bit of a shift in the next year or so too. So
Brad,
is that kind of what you're seeing?
yeah, and I'm so happy that you pointed out that buyers aren't having to go, 40,000, 50,000, $100,000 over asking price, because this is what makes me real happy about that is even though interest rates are causing, if you're a payment buyer, if you're a payment home buyer, your payment costs you double what it did a year ago. But listen to this, Brad. Here's my thoughts on this. And my wife and I were actually looking for a house right now. So yeah, I'm having to deal with it myself. So if I bought a house a year ago, like I just said, I would have had to pay 40,000, 20,000 sometimes $100,000 over market to buy it. That's any buyer last year was having to do that type of crap. It was a nuts market. There was no inventory, none whatsoever. But today, with inventory rising, even though your payments are more expensive, it still costs you less than it did a year ago because you're not having to come to the table with no appraisal contingency, no inspection contingency, accepting the home completely as is and paying 20, 40, $100,000 over asking price. If my payments only double, let's say my payments went up 50% from a $1,400 payment to a $2,200 payment. That difference of $800, how many times can I divide $800 into 20 grand? It is what I'm getting at right here. So to put it into perspective, if I had to pay 20 grand over, and then if I wanted to divide that by 800, that's still two. That's still 2 years of the same equal living. That's still 2 years of the same equal living. Does that make sense, Brad? What I'm getting at? Am I saying it in a way that you think everyone can understand?
I think so.
Okay, and listen, if
I
I had
think
to
it
pay
makes
40
sense.
grand, if I had to pay 40 grand over on a house a year ago just to get it, but my payments only went up 50% as of right now, it will take me 50 months of these extra payments to equal the same 40 grand amount. 50 months. And 50 months divided by 12, folks, oops, I didn't do that right. 50 months divided by 12 is 4 years. A lot of people move in 4 years. So the house still costs you the same today as it did a year ago. Theoretically, looking at it from this perspective, the dollars are just moved in a different direction. So when people are like, Mom, my payments went up so much, my immediate answer is, yeah, but you're going to be able to get it at appraised value. You're going to be able to buy a home at appraised value and not have to dip into your 401k, not have to get some gift funds from your parents, not have to dip into the vacation fund for the year. You can still go on a vacation because your payments, yes, they're up 50%, but you're not bringing such a large amount of money to the table at closing now. So the market, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. Interest rates suck. There's no question about these interest rates sucks. If you could buy a house a year ago on a $2,000 a month payment that now costs you a $3,000 a month payment, that sucks. But you're not dipping into your savings and dropping a wad of cash on a house for the appraisal purposes. So that's my thoughts on it, Brad. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but does that make sense?
It makes sense to me.
Okay. Another indicator that Brad and I like to look at because we're weirdos and we look at stuff like this all the time is your days. That was a month supply. Another thing to pay attention to is your days on market. So looking at the month over month days on market, it's up to 9 days, folks. It's still only up 9 days, guys. So yes, we have 2.2 months worth of inventory on the market, but the days on market is only 9 days. So you get to look at homes. I'm so thankful that buyers get to look at homes. There were so many buyers that Brad and I helped over the last 2.5 years, 3 years, that were buying houses based off video because Brad and I would jump in the car and go video them on for their lunches so they could see the house on their lunch break if they weren't able to make it. But 9 days on the market, that is still super fast, Brad.
Yep. And if a house is priced right, it's going to sell.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's just Brad and I's quick thoughts on the real estate market right now, folks. Your prices are still. Let me go over here real quick. Your where is the sales price? Pending sales, home sales, sales. Maybe it's this one. Sales price. Okay. So your sales price, folks, is still up 11.49% in the entire MLS. Oklahoma City's sales price is still up 9.8%. Edmond, Oklahoma sales price is still up 8.8%, and Norman, Oklahoma sales price is still up 18.2%. Norman is a D1 school, so they're gonna have some strong sales there. People are always gonna be moving in and out of it. Oh man, what about inspections, Brad? Do you think sellers are and what you've seen over the last week, over the last couple of weeks, do you think sellers are helping out a little more when it comes to inspections?
Yeah. Yeah, I think sellers are. We just had a house recently that, we were able to get quite a bit of concessions on.
Because sellers don't
And
want to. I'm sorry, Brett. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you're good.
The
Sorry, I'm
seller
trying
was
to.
willing to give more concessions because they didn't want to wait around. They don't want to see what might happen next Fed meeting.
Yeah, if they're ready to get their house sold right now, they're willing to work with a buyer that makes a strong offer. And eh, I want to use the word reasonable, right? They're more reasonable now than they would have been, a year ago when they're like, "Hey, I'm just going to put my house on the market, sell it for 40,000 over asking, take the highest offer, and be done with it." Because depending on where you're at, what market you're in, if you're talking a $200,000 house or you're talking an $800,000 house, um, it's a lot different now. So most people are definitely, sorry, I'm having issues here with my phone. It's connecting in and out. Most people are definitely willing to work with that buyer that's reasonable. And, if they want to get their house sold, then that's what it takes, you know? So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, I think that's real good. So it's a lot more give and take type relationship, not just for buyers. You can get a little more leniency, a little more help from the seller than you could back in February or March even of this year.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so we've been talking a little heavy on the buyer side. On the seller side, Brad, uh, I don't think they're just unless they're given a decent discount to cover the repairs that are needed. I don't think sellers are gonna be able to sell it as is like they were back in March and over the last 2 years. Do you think they need to do a little more of the make ready? Maybe do that exterior paint job or definitely make sure the insurance has gotten the roof where it needs to be insurable.
Yeah, I think it's got to be ready. I think it's got to be presentable in these times. If you have any damage to the house, you want to get that addressed, at least get some estimates before you go on the market, kind of know what to expect. And you can do all that, with a pre-listing inspection. I can't emphasize enough how important those are. Um, you know, Updating obviously is important as well. You always, you want the house to be presentable. And I think that goes for any type of market. If a house is presentable and it's ready to sell, it makes our job so much easier, and we're able to get the seller exactly what they want a lot of the times. So, and it's a partnership. You want to make sure that the house is ready to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you guys want,
Now there are people that can't, make those repairs, and so they got to be prepared to offer concessions or offer money or adjust the price to offset the cost for updating and making that house move in ready. So I think that's what we're seeing right now.
yeah, yeah, the
Would you
more
agree?
I absolutely would, Brad. The more move-in ready a home is, the more clean is huge a home is, the quicker any buyer will choose that home over the others. Because if you have a clean home, the assumption is that you maintained everything else really well too. Like you switched out your AC filters every 3 months like you're supposed to. Consult an HVAC tech because Brad and I aren't licensed HVAC techs. But you got a nice clean yard. You took care of your yard. You may not have any crazy gophers at the moment. We've got videos on getting rid of gophers on our channel. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you, Brad. I think sellers need to step up the game a little bit, at least get the professional clean job done on the house. And then anything that's just stand out, like siding that might need some caulking, windows that might need some caulking, things like that. Do those little things, and they're absolutely going to get your home chosen over the other homes. As you can see, 2.2 months worth of homes that are on the market. I agree with you 100%, Brad.
So what do you think? What's your opinion on the pre-listing inspection?
Those are really hot commodities in some states, especially with low inventory. Right now, since there's not such low inventory, it's 50-50 on my end. Me personally, like if you feel like there's some things you want to do before you get on the market, you're like, I just need confirmation that I know I need to get this stuff done. Then yeah, absolutely do it. Me personally, I would probably do a systems inspection. What I mean by that, Brad, is I would have a roofer go out and check the roof. I'd have an HVAC company come service the unit and choose a local HVAC company who doesn't base their numbers on unit sales, who just come out and repair the unit. Because some HVAC companies may give bonuses to techs to sell them whole brand new units, and that's something you definitely want to look out for. And then what is another major component? Really, HVAC and the roof are the two biggest things that if I were going to get a pre-home inspection done, I'd probably do that on my Oklahoma home. Me personally, a full-blown home inspection right up front, I might already know that my fan wobbles and I just don't want to replace it, if that makes sense, Brad.
Yeah, yeah, it does. The only reason I say that is I just got out of a deal where the buyer had to spend about $1,500 or $2,000 on inspections just to find out all these issues, and then get more inspections, and then you have air ducts, and you have, I mean, we found out a lot about this house. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm always going to encourage someone to inspect and to know and to disclose everything about the property, because, you're just kind of wasting time if you don't disclose everything up front. And integrity comes into play there. And I think it's important to have integrity whether you're selling or buying a house,
Yeah, I
or
would have.
representing or helping someone buy or sell a house.
Yeah, I would absolutely fill out their disclosures fully. I do, even when I do fill it out all the time, fully, and I recommend everyone does too, because the disclosures protect sellers when it comes time to sell their home. The disclosures say, hey, this is everything I know, take it or leave it. Because I'm not an attorney, but I believe Oklahoma is a buyer beware state, and that's why the inspections are so prominent. They take up a whole page of the purchase agreement. So yeah, absolutely disclose when you're a seller. Brad, you want to talk about some trending news in real estate?
I do, Josh. Bring
Okay,
it.
so
What do you
we're
got
just gonna
for us?
we're just gonna compare this trending news in real
Oh,
estate from YouTube to our Oklahoma market. So this headline right here, Brad: housing market deteriorates as September housing starts and permits. So I guess it's only focusing on the new construction side of things. And me personally, Brad, I kind of agree. I think the builders are pulling back on building houses, and because the reason I say that is because with buyers payments costing them 50% more than they did last year, it just makes sense. They're scared. They don't want to be stuck with the house. Do you think that housing starts are slowing here in the Oklahoma City market? Less houses are getting put up right now?
yeah. Yes,
Perfect.
I
Perfect.
do, Josh.
Perfect. The next trending headline, Brad, is surging mortgage rates. Cool, the U.S. housing market. What do you think on that one, Brad? Surging mortgage rates. Cool, the U.S. housing market.
I think you got to have something to offset the cost. Um, you know, the Fed adjusting the rates, it, it's making a little bit more difficult for first time home buyers, and you know they're having to kind of dip into stuff, reserves or 401ks, in order to get houses. But I read a deal the other day about millennials are upgrading a lot of houses right now. So what do you think?
Yeah. You either buy a smaller house or you do less with your discretionary funds. If you want to keep the same house, if you're a payment buyer, if you're a cash buyer, I think new homes might be the way to look at right now. if you're a cash buyer, depending on how much square footage you want, because a new home has less square footage than an existing home when it comes to purchasing. And new homes might not have well-established mature trees, which trees are a big deal to some buyers. But the housing, the rates will make people buy smaller homes or not move or just do less with their discretionary funds, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. But people, I hear, date the rate, marry the house. I'm really tired of hearing that phrase, but keep that in mind. You can refinance the house later on if you feel like the payment is stretched, you know, beyond a certain comfort level for you.
Yeah, if rates
So
go down and you have that option to refinance, absolutely. There's some companies out there too, Brad, that do the
point
that
system.
adjustment. What is that adjustment called? Like you put 10% down on the loan value and they adjust it. You know what I'm talking about? Um, Gateway Mortgage does it. They re-amortize. Yeah, they re-amortize it. So let's say you get a bonus at work. Gateway Mortgage, at the time of this video, they would offer re-amortization if you put 10% down or more on whatever your balance is on the primary. So rather than refinance, you can knock down that balance and have a lower payment based off of the balance you knock down. So verify everything with your lender to find out what type of options you have if you're purchasing now, and if in 1 year, 2 years, 6 months you want to refinance. I think you got to wait 6 months to refinance. I think that's a thing, but I'm not sure because I'm not a lender.
I'm not either.
What do you think about Don Peebles, Brad? He warns of a housing recession. Do you think the housing market here in Oklahoma, keeping it to specific Oklahoma, and we're looking at national news. Do you think Oklahoma's housing is going to have a recession, Brad?
I personally don't. Um, a lot of other states, states like California, New York, they're going to get hit hard. But I think Oklahoma. I mean, yeah, we're going to see a little bit of a shift, and things are going to be. I don't think we're going to be in a full recession. People are always buying and selling houses, so whatever market you're in, I don't see that being a recession. What do you think? You think we're going to hit a recession?
No, absolutely not. I don't think we have enough inventory to even supply the demand for housing that we have right now. Over the last 6 months, our inventory has climbed, but it's only climbed to 2.2 months worth of inventory, and we're still seeing, looking at the data right here, we're still seeing that housing is still getting typically 100% of the asking price. So professional real estate agents like Brad and I are still pricing houses correctly. We're encouraging sellers not to try to price it 40 grand over what the market says, because right now there's more seller competition than there was before the Fed started raising rates. So I don't think Oklahoma has enough housing to supply the demand that it has currently. And even before COVID, we still didn't even have enough housing to supply the demand that was needed. So our employers are still hiring. From the last look that I looked, I haven't seen any of the Oklahoma employers talking about laying off staff yet, me personally. But I still think that Oklahoma is a really good economy for housing purposes because of demand and because of jobs, me personally.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Um, don't list your house for what you think it's worth. Let a professional real estate agent to show you the market. Houses do beat the market, but we know what we're doing,
We've
right?
seen a couple houses, right?
I've seen a few, yes, and you know, if we're not upfront, we're not telling you, hey, this house is going to sell for this price, or what the market's saying this house is going to sell for, then you're going to be misinformed in one way or another, and that's not that doesn't feel good, because yeah, you can definitely go off on your own and try to sell it, and hopefully it works out, and we'll wish you the best. We'll try to help you out as much as we can. But when it doesn't and you come back to us, you know, it's like, hey, we told you this up front. I mean, we study the market. You're not gonna go to a doctor and a doctor's gonna say, hey, you need knee surgery, and then you're like,
No,
well,
I don't.
I don't need knee surgery. I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah, yeah, and we can
How's
definitely
that?
get
Oh,
it.
yeah, and it's like, hey, how's that working out for you?
Yeah, absolutely, and we can give it the good college try. We absolutely can. Brad and I, if we'll tell you exactly what the neighborhood is saying, exactly what similar homes in the whole school district they're saying. We'll give you the concrete, real data when it comes time to selling your home. And if you're thinking something other than what the data is saying, we can move forward on what you're thinking with an adjustment in 2 weeks. It average 9 days on market. If we do not have a contract in hand in 2 weeks, then we both just have to agree to adjust it where the market's at. Because Brad and I
Because
are
that
out there.
doesn't it doesn't benefit us to have your house on the market, and it doesn't benefit you to have your house on the market. You hire us because we sell your property, we get you where you need to go, and we help you accomplish your goals.
Absolutely, absolutely. Whether that's getting closer to the grandkids, whether that's moving because of a job reload, you guys, the goal is to get it sold. And in this market, as a seller, you want to get it sold fast. You don't want to wait for each single Fed meeting. You don't want to be on the market during successive Fed meeting rate adjustments, because most buyers, 67% of buyers out there, are payment buyers. And every time that Fed raises rates and it causes everyone else to raise their rates, it spooks the market, et cetera, et cetera. The Fed's not buying mortgage-backed securities anymore either. That's another reason it keeps getting more expensive too. But I'm not a financial analysis. Brad's not a financial analysis. We're real estate guys. We're just telling you what we hear on the educational podcast that we watch over at eXp Realty. Brad, I've enjoyed this. I'm so sad that it's taking us a little over 6 months, that we've been so busy that we haven't got to get together in over 6 months probably. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate your time, Josh, and as always, everything you've done and continue to do. And so I wish you the best and look forward to working with you in the future, and look forward to the next call we do.
Next week we're going to do this. We're going to keep everyone up to date every week. Brad and I, whether we're in our shorts or not, because you won't know, we're going to be seeing you every single week. This is going to be
Business on the
insane.
top.
That's right. Brad, what's the best number if a seller or buyer wants to get a hold of you? What's the best number they need to reach out to you?
You can reach me at 405-203-9990. I've had the same cell phone since I was a junior in high school. Same cell phone number. So
Wow.
203-9990, area code 405.
Wow. That's awesome. And guys, as always, if you consider this fruitful, if you consider this good content for your real estate questions, consider subscribing to Brad and I's channels, giving it a big thumbs up so that other consumers just like yourself can enjoy these videos. And don't forget to put your comments or questions down below, even if it's after the live. Brad and I always go back through there and get those answered for you. Relocating to, moving within, selling your home or land in Oklahoma, the Oklahoma City metro area. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'll see you guys on the next video.
Bye, Josh.